Just... Welcome back to Unqualified with Frank Genzano
and Angry Dave Magaldi.
We have a lot to go over.
Yeah, we do.
A lot has happened in the last week.
It's been a busy sports week in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and a great one. Let's get right into it. Errors and omissions from the previous show.
Yeah, so I effed up on the Flyers when we were talking about the 1987 Stanley Cup run. They did not go down 3-0. They actually went down 2-0, won a game, went down 3-1, and then won the next two to force a Game 7. And Game 7 was actually much closer than I remember it to be, but in the third period, the Edmonton Oilers sort of overtook the game and outshot the Flyers by an immense amount.
Yeah,
and that's what I remember, is just getting them getting dominated. So that's funny that I remember a little bit differently than it actually was.
Yeah, it was still frustrating.
Yeah,
right?
Very frustrating.
But here's the good news: right now, no one's listening to the podcast to get their Flyers updates.
Right. That's true. We can go into the Flyers updates real quick. They did have 2 games this week. They won the first game against a really bad
Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, Columbus. I looked that up, and Columbus is supposed to be actually worse than the Flyers. So they beat them with 2 empty net goals late.
Yeah,
and then they promptly lost to a good team.
They remembered who they were.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to be a grind all year for Flyers and the Flyer faithful, I can tell you that.
The update on the Sixers: James Harden goes to practice sometimes. He doesn't play games. That's where we're at now.
Yeah, Joel Embiid is not playing this evening.
Oh, he's not playing?
He's not playing in Brooklyn tonight.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Well, listen, load management.
Load management.
Didn't know that was still a thing, but it is.
It definitely is. All right, well, let's get to the important shit that's been going on.
The catch-up brought to you by...
No one.
Still no one.
We'll someday.
It's all right.
You think we can sponsor ourselves?
We may have to at this point. We just may have to. All right, so some really important game happened. Game 3, Phillies Braves.
Yeah.
Bombs away.
Yes, sir.
There was a lot of home runs. It was actually felt like Game 3 of the World Series.
Yeah, man.
I could tell you that. You know, at the third inning, Ozzie Albies singles, sharp line drive to right field. Right. Acuna scored, right, making it 1-0.
Were you scared?
I was. I was a little, because you have Aaron Nola. You didn't know, because Aaron Nola at those times throughout the year has kind of shut down a little bit.
He has.
Yeah. The win probability rate for Atlanta after that run was scored, 62.9%.
Really?
Yeah, if I told you had a 62.9% shot at getting shot in the face if you walked out your door, you walking out that door?
I'm not walking out the door, probably.
No. But then our guy comes up, Captain, I fuck with Philly, Nick Castellanos.
Fucking bomb.
Making it 1-1, and then it was just the floodgates right after that. Bryce Harper steps up, hits a 3-run homer.
Yep.
The probability rate for the Phillies then switches to 82.9. By the way, I just want to point out that Bryce Harper's exit velocity at home run, 109.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I forget what the top exit velocity of a home run is. I know it's Aaron Judge. He's got like 3 out of the top 5 exit velocities, but it's like in the teens, right?
No, I think the playoff series, somebody hit it. I think it was 122.
Holy balls!
That's hard.
Yeah, so that's like the hardest ever, or something like that, isn't it? Yeah.
So then Bryce Harper comes up again, bottom of the 5th, hits another home run, exit velo, 109.8.
Jesus.
Insane. And you guys are kind of getting the gist of it. It was a 10-2 score.
Yeah.
Trey Turner hits a home run. Castellanos hits his second home run. That one went 112, exit velo. And then just for, shits and giggles, Brandon Marsh homers as well.
Right. Yeah, so just they bomb it, then they come back 2 days later.
2 days later, another nail-biter.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game, really. I mean, the pitchers showed up. Strider showed up. I mean, people want to talk shit about him.
Yeah.
But he's a great pitcher. The kid's a great pitcher.
He's a great pitcher. And there was a lot of angst. There was some Bryce Harper, Orlando Arcia angst after Game 2 when listen, on that play, Bryce Harper you have to do one or two things. You got to tag or you got to look to score. He looked to score. He's trying to win the game, right?
Again,
that's what superstars do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we talked about it at the time. I mean, he is who he is. That's why you love him. You love him because he runs through stop signs.
Yeah.
You love him because he gives it all. He made the wrong choice.
And then in that game, in game 4, it's basically bottom of the third. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's top of the fourth.
Right.
Austin Riley hits a home run.
Yep.
Austin Riley, bat showed up. Like, he was the only person for the Braves that showed up this series.
Yes, sir.
Win probability rate goes to 60% at that point, and then the Phillies quickly respond. Again.
It's almost a carbon copy.
Yeah.
And Castellanos hits a solo fucking moonshot.
Moonshot 108. Exit velocity. It's kind of going to be the theme of the podcast right now.
Yeah.
And then things start to settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
Except for anyone named Orlando Arcia.
He has gotten owned by Philadelphia fans.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's one of two things in Philadelphia, right? If you're playing here or you're playing as an opposing player here, you cannot show weakness. You can't.
So, listen, hey, I'm going to give advice to anybody that's coming into Philadelphia as an opposing player. Here's your homer advice. Ignore it.
You have to.
Just act like it doesn't exist. Because once we know that you hear us, we're going to rape your mother. Do you understand? Like, that's what we're going to say. We're going to say everything. Everything to get to you, to make you want to lose it, to make you want to punch us in the face. That's who we are. I'm sorry, but you just have to ignore it. Because the next thing out of our mouth is, I want to rape your mother. Like, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
And they're ruthless. And once and you saw in that whole exchange, he's pointing to his ring.
Yeah.
Right? That he's won a World Series ring.
Right.
Right? And then next thing you know, gets very angry. Somebody said something, probably in Spanish.
Right.
Because he doesn't understand English.
Yeah. Right.
Ish.
Right.
English-ish.
Yeah, I don't think the language that you speak as a Phillies fan really matters. It's just the fact that you're from Philadelphia and you're a Phillies fan.
Yeah.
And you will be an incredible, unrelenting asshole.
Yeah, because he turned around and said something in a very angry tone.
Right.
Twice.
And then he tried to play it off where he stuck his tongue out.
Yeah.
And what's his name standing next to him trying to calm him down?
Acuna. Yeah, Acuna's being the peacemaker at that point.
Of all people.
Trying to redirect him because he ran out of Ritalin. But the gamut of emotions that Arcia ran through in a 22-second time span is the full experience in Philadelphia, right?
Right. I mean, that's what they do to you.
Yeah.
And you know what I want to say? All right, let's finish with the game, right? So it's 1-1. Then what happens?
Listen, it's 1-1. We come to the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah. And
Trey Turner again shows up. Big home run.
Right.
Big home run, 403 feet, 103.9 exit velo, and then Nick Castellanos kind of seals the deal there.
And the capper, yeah. But other big plays you can't forget, though, man.
No.
That play.
Rojas in center field.
Rojas in center field.
Did you see the fan video of him making that catch?
Of the sound. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, the fan videoed it, right? Okay. He was videoing it, and then as he's coming back, he hits a warning track. You could hear the fan saying, "You got room, you got room," and it was really quiet.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the only voice I heard in that is, "You got room, you got room, you got room." Makes a great catch. Right?
Unbelievable catch in that situation for a rookie. That's why he's there. Rob Thompson actually earlier that day had a conversation with him, like just to reinforce the fact that you're here for your defense. We don't care if you hit. Whatever you give us is great. But, we need you here. You're our center fielder. He comes out and rewards him big time.
Big time. But it's good that he's not here for his bat because he's at .048.
Yeah, who cares?
And
just keep making those catches, brother.
Then Nick Cage Jr. comes in. And not the regular Nick Cage, just Nick Cage from Con Air. Strom comes in. Yeah. Shuts the door.
Yeah, man.
And I love what he said post game. Right?
Yeah.
Is that, he came here to play in front of these fans, and he's not a reliever, he's not a starter, he's a pitcher, and he's going to pitch when they tell him to pitch. He doesn't care what his role is, he just wanted to be here.
Yeah, and be a part of it. Yeah.
Right, and I think that's the culture of this team.
Listen,
right?
I was thinking about it this week, Frank, and just how much I love this team. I've never really loved the team more, and I'm even as kids, right? Like when you're awestruck by players, and I've never been more in tune with a team or loved them more. And I think part of it too is how much they celebrate and how much they really just like love it.
Yeah.
Because isn't that really what sports is all about, really, for all of us? It's an escape, right?
Yeah.
It's a reason to get away from reality, to celebrate, to have that camaraderie with people that you don't necessarily know, right? And they just live it, and they're fucking leaning into it as much as you can lean into it, and really making it wonderful in Philadelphia right now. In a time where the economy's not great, we're high crime in Philadelphia at this time. And it all goes away.
Yeah.
For a few hours, a couple nights a week.
And the beautiful part about it.
Yeah.
You ready for it? I got my late night DJ talk.
Yes.
The Atlanta Braves fans' belly aching has been phenomenal. It has been.
They're such pussies.
It's amazing. The weighted ball on that ball that Rojas hit.
Oh yeah.
They're claiming the ball was weighted.
Oh come on! Are you serious?
If you go on Braves Twitter, it's weighted. And the other thing from Braves Twitter was the clubhouse is a sanctuary. It's not. It's a place where reporters are supposed to do their job, and they're going to make reports based off what they see, what they hear. It's their job.
Right. He didn't say it in private and say, "Can you not tell anybody?" Why are you guys such? Whatever. I'm trying not to curse, Frank. I'm trying to be better.
Okay.
I'm trying to be better for you.
You have to be better for me. I think our audience wants to hear Angry Dave curse on occasion.
I just don't understand why we're such pussies about it.
The pussification of America?
Jesus Christ. Yeah. The guy said, just own it.
Own it.
Just own it. I mean, at least he owned the fact that he did say it, that it wasn't supposed to get out or whatever.
Right.
At least he didn't lie.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
At first, they were reporting that wasn't said.
Oh, really?
And then when the audio came out, he wasn't supposed to hear that. And that's where the T-shirts, Attaboy Harper, and on the back, he wasn't supposed to hear that. Well, he heard it, and he showed up.
That's amazing. And again, that's a shirt made by somebody's friend. A friend of one of the Phillies made those shirts.
Yeah. So, Orion was wearing it. As a rookie, he's been with the team a month.
3 days.
3 days.
4 hours and 7 minutes.
He's wearing it in the clubhouse. And my favorite meme to come out of all this, right, isn't I fuck with Philly.
Yeah.
It is our backup catcher wearing his overalls.
Yeah. Giving
an interview with an empty Budweiser 12-pack box on his head. Yeah. And it says, Atlanta. The clubhouse is sanctuary, and this is Phillies, and it has a picture of him. Garrett Stubbs.
Who can't love that guy?
I know.
That is every frat party I've ever been to, the guy that gets everybody in trouble. He's the guy that jumps off the roof into the pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't mean to do it. Dogs aren't supposed to eat chocolate. I killed the dog by accident.
It was just a joke.
It's just a joke. So now Phillies win the divisional series.
Yeah.
Heading to the NLCS to play the Arizona Diamondbacks.
They are.
This evening.
We did, by the way, predict Phillies in 4, both of us.
High five.
High five. Listen, can the Phillies lose the series? Yes, they can. But their lineup's better, their pitching's better, their bullpen's better. They have more experience. Obviously, Arizona has some mojo going on, just like the Phillies did last year, so that scares the shit out of me. But I don't see how they don't win this series. I just don't.
All right, so are you ready to make a prediction?
I am ready to make a prediction.
Okay, I'm ready for yours.
All right, well, I got Phillies in 5.
You have Phillies in 5.
I think they may take. I think it's short order. I think they have to come here first. I don't think they survive that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we take both 2, and then we take 1 there and come back.
All right, here's my prediction. I like Arizona's team. I really do. They have some scrappy ball players.
Yeah.
They have Zach Gallen going tonight. Bishop Eustace product from Somerdale, New Jersey. Shout out to Zach. I like Zach a lot. I think he's a great guy. He gives a lot back to the community. Then they have Merrill Kelly going next game after that. I can't tell you another starting pitcher after that.
Right.
Okay. The Phillies match up really well against Arizona. So my prediction is the Phillies in 4, celebrating by jumping in their fucking pool.
In Arizona.
And guess who's going to lead the way? Garrett Stubbs. Yeah, that is my bold prediction.
Wow.
And I don't see a rematch. I think
Rangers.
I think the Rangers. And that's going to lead us down to Phillies, Rangers, very close to Eagles, Cowboys, Dallas week.
Yeah, right.
No, it ends on that Sunday when the Eagles are in Dallas.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Little road show?
Oh, I'll go. I'll fucking do that.
That's what I'm saying. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Take this show on the road.
I'll take the equipment too. We'll do it down there.
Well, if only we had a sponsor.
Maybe someday.
The last segment of the catch-up, Eagles, Jets.
What a shitter.
Yeah.
Hurts had a bad game. I still love him.
Yeah.
He threw in a fucking clunker. But I don't understand the offensive philosophy right now. He threw the ball. He dropped back 55 times yesterday.
Yeah.
55 times.
It's the Andy Reid playbook. I can't even talk right now. I'm that upset. I get it. They had their 4th and 5th string cornerback in, but guess what? If your name's not A.J. Brown, they got shut down.
They did. A few drop passes, too.
Devontae Smith had 2.
Yeah.
The one that really hurt, that kind of could have changed the direction of the game, was Gainwell's drop, where it hits him in the chest and bounces out.
Yeah, and then Goddard, too, once bounced it out of his chest, and it was an interception.
Yeah, it was bad.
And then we missed a 32-yard field goal. What was it?
Yeah, I need to see less of Kenneth Gainwell.
I was actually that was part of my notes, that we don't trade notes here, but that was part of my notes, is I need to see less of anybody else other than
Swift. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Let's get Penny back in. Like, what whose daughter is he banging that he's not in the rotation right now?
He's either banging someone's daughter, or he is a certifiably slow. Very slow. That he can't get a playbook. I run fast and straight.
Okay. A.J. Brown did have another big day.
Yeah.
But they go up 14-3.
Right, and then they do nothing.
They do nothing.
And the last interception too, like before they run it back and then they score shortly after.
Yeah.
Why are they throwing the ball? They gave them an extra timeout. I don't understand. Weren't they in field goal range already?
They were. So you're in field goal. I mean, speaking of field goal, Jake Elliott got jinxed big time.
Of course
he doesn't miss that.
Yeah, I mean,
he could kick that left-footed.
Again, I don't think it's that huge of a deal. I mean, you throw a clunker in the middle of the season, it might be actually a benefit to them in the long run, because maybe they need the true wake-up call to, again, realize who they are. You're a run-first team.
You have to be.
I mean, that's who you are. You had the great offensive line, and again, especially when Lane Johnson goes down, then they were just shooting gaps, and they were throwing all kinds of shit on that side of the field to confuse the guy that was in there for him. So, again, you got to lean on your running game. That's who you are.
You do.
And then if that's not working, you play action passing and all that stuff. But he can't be dropping back 55 times. It's just not who you are.
No, it's not who we are. We're not going to win that way, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to win turning the ball over 4 times. You're not supposed to win.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you should lose that game. The fact it was that close means how bad the Jets' offense is.
Yeah.
And the Jets' defense is legit. I mean, it's a good defense.
I got a bone to pick though. I got a bone to pick with their head coach, Little Robbie. Little Robbie talked some shit after the game. Yeah, he said, this is the 5th week in a row or 6th week in a row where we embarrassed the quarterback. Well, here's what's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Is that you turn the ball over 4 times and the game was still in question. Right? We played, this is probably the worst football that we've played in 12 months.
Yeah.
And there are some issues this team is having right now. You heard Jason Kelsey mention last week that the reason why he was so upset in a win is because they have some things they need to clean up, and I think it's apparent right now.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the signal caller. I really do. I'm blaming a little bit of coaching, a lot on coaching. I would say 75% coaching, 25% players. Sometimes Hurts looked lost out there. He didn't look lost last year. That doesn't come up. The kid works hard. He's really a bright kid. So
it's a winner.
He's a winner.
Yeah.
So it has to be, to me, it has to be coaching. The personnel has gotten better. It hasn't gotten worse.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense why they're struggling offensively other than the play calling fucking blows.
And that's the only issue that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
You shut down their two best players, right? You shut down Breece Hall. He had 39 yards rushing. He did have a touchdown. I get it, but that you and I could have scored that touchdown.
Yeah, they weren't trying to stop him.
It's the old like Madden, like let me hurry up and let them score. I'll get the ball back and I'm going to score with a minute 45. It didn't happen.
Right.
Garrett Wilson was rather, in my opinion, pedestrian at 8 catches, 90 yards, but he was who was the cornerback that was on him? It wasn't Bradbury.
No, it was Job.
Job, exactly. Yeah. So it's.
I think also they were a little bit arrogant too, because what's the name would have played the rookie defensive tackle. He would have played if it was a more important game.
Right.
They sat him. They were a little bit loose on who didn't play. I don't know if the other corner was healthy or not, but word was that if he really had to go, the rookie could have went.
He could have went.
Yeah.
I'm okay with him sitting. I really am. Concerned about Lane Johnson. We haven't heard any news on Lane Johnson yet.
The X-ray came back okay, negative. But X-rays don't mean anything. Just for anybody that knows anything in medical, unless X-ray is going to show a break, X-ray is not going to show a tear. So you need the MRI. The MRI is what matters.
And that was today, the MRI.
Yeah, so we're going to wait to hear about that.
So that concludes the catch-up.
The catch-up sponsored by
no one yet. Angry Dave and Frank Genzano, Unqualified. I was thinking about this. Yeah, I listened to the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
While we are unqualified, it's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, all right, whatever. Yeah. We're as unqualified as everybody else. I mean, just why? Because you have a fucking journalism degree? That means you know a lot about sports. I can read, too.
Yeah.
Let's fuck out. All right, let's talk about, you want to give your buddy Ryan story?
Yeah, I absolutely want to talk about my buddy Ryan. It's actually not buddy Ryan, but it's more Randall Cunningham.
Oh, right, your locker room story. So,
yeah, I mean, there is...
buddy Ryan era locker room story.
Yeah, if you caught up on the last episode, I had the pleasure and very fortunate to be in the locker room during that era. So, there were guys that I had relationships with, and by relationships with, they knew me as my brothers, as Shades' little brother, or Mattioli's younger cousin. They called him Skets, like spaghettis, but Sketties.
Yeah.
Right? On a travel week, right? Randall Cunningham. Randall was the guy, right? He was the guy in the locker room. It was him, and it was Reggie White, it was Jerome Brown, and then it was basically kind of really everyone else. Wes Hopkins kind of mixed in a little bit as a leader. Randall was giving one of the ball boys a hard time about his suit because he was traveling with the team. It was a bad suit.
The ball boy had a bad suit.
So you had to travel with the team, right? And you had to get dressed in a suit. This gentleman had a corduroy suit on, and it was brown.
Right.
So Randall goes up to him and starts giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
About his suit.
Yeah.
And not just like a shot. Like he's embarrassing this kid.
Right.
And then Skets, Mattioli, catches wind of it and goes over and picks up for his guy.
Yeah.
Ball boy guy. Gets in his face. Randall gets in his face, and Skets pushes him.
What?
To the ground.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. Yeah. And it quickly got squashed.
Yeah.
Right? No one was reprimanded for it.
Really? He didn't get in trouble?
He didn't get in trouble. Actually, I think he got promoted to assistant equipment manager. But it was things like that I just really enjoyed being in that locker room.
Yeah. Do you think that goes over well in today? He gets fired immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it does. It does. There's a lot of things that happen today that wouldn't go over well, or that back then that wouldn't go over well today. Like concussions.
What a concussion?
Right. There's a video of Ronnie Lott making a hit, and he's running off the field, and he's cross-eyed. And I remember John Madden and Pat Summerall like laughing about it.
Yeah. Dude, I remember being a kid and playing Pee Wee ball when we played in the late 80s, early 90s. It was like, oh, you just got your bell rung. Take a play off.
A play. Right. I'm vomiting.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about fucking concussions in the 80s.
No. Especially in 1988.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my story. So I'm 12 years old, and for anybody that doesn't know, we grew up in South Philly here, which is walking distance to the Veterans Stadium. So me and my friends, we used to go down there all the time. We would go down to the Spectrum. We had great ways of sneaking into these places. So we're down there for a game, and my friends used to they'd be a little bit of autograph. So we would wait by the tunnel where all the players came out. They would get autographs. I never asked for autographs. I was a weirdo that way. I never, I was a little bit shy, and I didn't like to ask people for anything really. But the one day so I did ask for a couple autographs that day, and then we're walking back, and I see Tony Taylor, right? Tony Taylor was the first base coach. He was a second baseman to play for the Phillies, a good player, I think a couple-time All-Star, and he was, he had retired, and he was a coach now. The fact that a 12-year-old even knew who the fuck Tony Taylor was pretty impressive at that point, because he was out of baseball for some time, and he was a fucking first base coach. So anyway, if you remember Veterans Stadium, Frank, they used to have a fence in between, where you couldn't get behind the fence, but you could still kind of see the player cars. You could see people back there. So he was behind the fence. I see him. My friends are like, go ask him. I'm like, I don't want to bother him. They're like, come on, go ask him. So I give in.
Right.
I walk over. I say, Mr. Taylor, can I have your autograph? It's me and Tony Taylor. There's not another motherfucker within 50 feet of us. There's nobody behind there. We're completely by ourselves. This is what this guy says to me. Nah, kid, leave me alone.
Wow.
That's what he said.
Wow.
So I was just pissed off, and I just walked away. I didn't say anything. So I walk away, and I guess he felt bad, right? So
I know where this is going. So I know exactly where this is going.
So he calls me back. He said, come here. So 12-year-old Dave Magaldi says, fuck you, Mr. Taylor. Stick your autograph up your ass. Oh, and that was the last time I asked for an autograph. Ever.
First of all, they're just guys.
They're just human
beings.
Listen, he had a bad moment. Some kids fucking bother him at 10:30 at night.
No, it doesn't matter. You give the autograph.
Of course you give the autograph.
Right.
Especially for the kid that fucking knows who you are.
You're the first. We may be one of the very few cities, though, that knows both of our base coaches. Right. Like, we know who you are.
Right. Dusty.
Exactly.
Stop with the fucking stop signs, Dust. We love you, though, but we know you.
I mean, we have third base coach that's a legend here, Vukovic.
Right. Absolutely.
You got to buck up there. But I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I knew Tony's wife.
Did you really?
I did. Back in my previous days when I was in insurance.
Was he a nice guy?
So no.
All right, good.
No.
Fuck him then.
Fuck him. So he was a part of the San Diego Padres organization when Tony Gwynn was there.
Okay. And
the stories that his wife would tell me was that him and Mr. Gwynn always butted heads.
Really?
You're Tony Taylor.
He's the greatest contact hitter of fucking 5 generations.
Here's exactly what you say to Tony Gwynn. Can I get you anything, sir? If that guy says anything to you. Anything.
Right.
And it's his hitting technique was so simple that no one would ever can't duplicate it.
Yeah.
Right. He gets eye level with the ball. It's so simple that he was getting eye level with the ball, keeping his shoulder on plane, and hitting it the opposite way.
All day long. Tony Gwynn had less strikeouts in a decade than Kyle Schwarber had this year. Yeah. A decade.
So, Tony, if Mr. Gwynn says anything to you, well, not now.
Right. Well, they're both dead. So
dead.
Fuck them. You know what?
We're going to have to edit that one out, too. Every episode, we got to edit something dead out. Someone or something.
You know what Tony Taylor and dinosaurs have in common? They're both dead. I'm not editing it. Fuck it.
Oh, God.
Right. How about
Love it. Let's get right into the top 5 most exciting non-championship Philadelphia sports moments.
All right. So here's my list. I got number 5, October 8th, 2006, the Lito Shepard game where he winning interception touchdown against Dallas, return, which was also the return of T.O.
Yeah. Do you remember how up in arms everyone was when we drafted Lito Shepard and Bobby Taylor back to back?
I do.
Yeah, that kind of panned out, right?
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, it worked for us.
They did okay for almost a decade.
Yes. We never had to worry about quarterback in that era.
Cowboys were second and goal from the 6, and Shepard returns the ball 102 yards for a touchdown.
I could close my eyes and just watch that whole entire run.
And it was a huge because the Eagles wind up winning the game 31-24.
Yeah, it was just he was a ball hawk, but more importantly, he hit like a safety.
Yeah, he did.
He could absolutely bring noise.
He was physical, not super big, but a really physical guy.
Yeah. Bobby Taylor was a tall guy, but he wasn't as physical.
Yeah, but he could body up. He was put on the bigger receivers though because he could body them up a little bit.
Yeah, didn't he plant Reggie Bush? Lito Shepard planted Reggie Bush in the playoff game.
I believe it was him.
Yeah, it was Lito.
It was Lito.
Yeah, and at the Superdome, which is a dump, by the way.
A super dump.
Super dump. It's a toilet.
Number 4, The Miracle of the Meadowlands Part 2 on October 9th of 2003. With 1:30 left in the game, the Eagles trailed the Giants by 10-7. Brian Westbrook fielded a Jeff Fiegels punt on one bounce, dodged a tackler, and raced down the sidelines untouched for an 84-yard touchdown.
So, right before that punt, the announcers, it was John Madden, I believe it was a Madden game.
Yeah.
They brought up Miracle at the Meadowlands 1. Right, which was a fumble recovery by Herman Edwards.
That's right.
In 87.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of, like, could this really happen again?
Yeah, it couldn't happen again. The Eagles offense blew that day. It was like a really tight game. You didn't think they were going to do anything.
Right. It was like watching a golf event. Right. It was a boring game.
It was a boring game. Neither team could do anything on offense. You weren't confident that they were going to do anything. And then he fucking just, the one bounce and one tackle and just gone. And he was shockingly fast.
It looks like a fire plug on nitro.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever seen him when he was still in the NFL when he was all jacked up?
Yeah.
He was a little guy. He didn't look, but his fucking thighs were enormous.
I couldn't imagine like if you were his size.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine tackling him.
But I just he was 5'8". 5'8". At probably 205 pounds, maybe, but he was just a fucking rock solid.
We had a lot of those guys. We had Charlie Gardner.
Yeah,
like we have Boston Scott now.
Yeah, similar kind of build. Yeah.
Sproles. I mean, all guys that are short in stature but just thick.
And then their first step, that burst was just incredible. All of them. Sproles was like that too.
Yeah,
that's what made him a great returner.
Yeah. And his screen game too. I mean, after I know we're trying to get through the top 5 here.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
How he revolutionized the West Coast offense for Andy Reid in his screen game.
You mean Westbrook? Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't run the ball at point, and we just utilized the screen game as our run game. Shocking that we can't do it now with a guy like Swift.
Yeah, really.
Right, who's really good out of the backfield. Anyway,
he's got that first.
I'm still not over the loss.
Yeah. Well, by the way, do you know that Brian Westbrook only had one season with 1,000 yards of rushing?
I did.
Yeah.
I did, but he had one season that had 86 yards receiving, or 86 receptions.
That same year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 2,000 yards total that year.
Jeez.
But he had a couple of 1,500 yard total years, but he didn't have a long, I guess running back, none of them do really, but he didn't have a long, very good career, but he had like a 5-year period where he was excellent, but only one of those years were 1,000 yards rushing. But which was to your point, is that a lot of his yards were really just screens, screens out of the backfield, that kind of thing.
Second greatest football player to come out of Villanova.
Who's the greatest?
Howie Long.
Yeah, Howie Long's a
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, I guess you're right.
Hall of Fame son too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
the whole fucking Long family can play football, man.
Yeah, they can.
All right, number 3, right? Yeah, number 3, Miracle at the Meadowlands. Part 3. we like to fuck the Giants. That's what we like to do. December 19th, 2010, Eagles beat the Giants 38-31 in a December battle for the top spot in the NFC East. The Giants take a commanding lead 31-10 in the fourth quarter. The Eagles scored 4 touchdowns in the final 8 minutes to steal one in front of a stunned New York Giants crowd.
Yeah.
With 14 seconds left, and your coach telling you not to punt the ball to Deshaun Jackson, he punts it directly to Deshaun Jackson, who returned his punt 65 yards for a touchdown for the win.
So 2 things also came out of that, right? I mean, maybe 3 or 4. Michael Vick's excellence.
Yeah.
Right? Mike Vick made a lot of people forget that he was involved in dogfighting.
Yeah.
Right? The better you played, people were like, not that bad. Right?
Yeah.
Jerry Maclin had a huge touchdown in that game.
Yeah.
But that kick alone, you got to see how much of a douchebag Tom Coughlin is.
Oh, bad guy.
And then he completely embarrassed Matt Dodge, who was the punter.
Yeah.
Matt Dodge, who never punted a game again after that season.
Right.
1 season in the NFL.
Never again.
Never again. He didn't have bad numbers either. I think he just, that play botched it for them so badly.
Yeah.
And I that was it was December, right? It was late December, the week before Christmas.
Yeah.
There was a lot of snow on the ground, and we were all stuck inside watching that game. I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it was like a week. It was just a year that we got a shit ton of snow.
Was that the year we got the 2 30-inch snowstorms?
Yes.
It might have been.
Yeah, it might have been.
Boy, they were back to back where Philadelphia had like 60 inches of snow on it within 10 days.
Yeah, and my kids are sleeping. Back when they were taking naps, and they were napping a little long, and I woke them up because I was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Deshaun Jackson fumbled the initially fumbled it, took 2 steps back, found an opening, got a great block.
That's right.
And then boom, gets to the 2-yard line and gets cute, and it's trying to see if the time is going to run out, and the defender.
Oh, he runs across.
Yeah. I thought originally the defender had a really good angle on him, and all I saw was, in my mind, because it's Philadelphia and bad things happen in Philadelphia, is that he gets tackled, he fumbles the ball, and that's how we don't win the game. We go into OT, but Deshaun brings it in, spikes it, and that's probably he's a guy I used to love watch run.
Yeah. Well, he just blew the top off of defenses. That's what he did, man. He did it for 10 years. He lasted a long time, and he was 165 pounds.
Opening play, opening game, first game of the season against the then Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
90 yards, 88 yards.
Super dynamic player, man.
Right. He got in a fight with Landry. Pre-game. Him and Landry getting a fight pre-game. Yeah. Right, they're talking shit back to each other, and the first play of the game,
the safety, yeah,
it blows by him, right, and then turns around again, spikes the ball. Phenomenal athlete.
So going back to Dave Magaldi's brief football career, the 105 Capitol Cowboys playing the EOM Angels. Michael Carrazzo returns a kick 99 yards for an almost touchdown, except for that he drops the ball at the 1-yard line because he forgot that he wasn't in the end zone.
Deshaun did that once.
Yes, he did, and so did Michael Carrazzo. We wound up losing that game.
Oh, Michael. Where's Michael today?
He's around.
Is he around? He's around.
He's around.
Yeah. If you run into him, would you bring that up? And remember that time where you cost us the game, you fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line?
Because you just gave it up?
Yeah, you gave it up.
Probably. I am pretty much a dick. I have been known to, on occasion on baseball games, is to turn to my teammate who just made an error and say, "Hey, man, remember that time you made an error?
Did you fatted the ball?
That time you fatted the ball?
In the championship game?
As you're running off the field? In between. All right. Number 2, December 28th, 2008, the Sunday of Miracles. On that day, the Eagles, with their backs against the wall in the NFC playoff hunt, the Eagles needed the Houston Texans to beat the Chicago Bears and the Oakland Raiders to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then they needed to beat the Cowboys. They destroyed the Cowboys. It was 42-3 in the third quarter. They needed tons of stuff to happen. I think the chances of them getting in at the beginning of the day was like 25%.
It was laughable. Like I remember that the pregame was like, if this happens, and then if this happens, and then we need this to happen,
right? And
it all happened.
Right, it all happened, and then the Eagles had the 4:00 game, right?
Yeah. Right, and they knew exactly what they needed to do.
Right.
And listen, the game plan was installed that week. Right, they knew they wanted to just physically dominate them, and they did.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than beating the Cowboys,
especially, and then to make it into the playoffs.
You know what? I probably might be better than beating the Cowboys.
What's that?
A Mets disaster, just an implosion.
Well, that might be.
It might be,
because that is my top non-championship moment of our lifetime, at the very least. So I had 4 Eagles moments. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a ton of great playoff moments in Sixers or Flyers in really the recent past. No. But this one definitely the best. The beginning of their run of greatness in 2007. Phillies clinched the title in 2007 over the Mets. Brett Myers gets the save. It's the first time of returning to the playoffs since 1993. They both are tied. The last day of the seasons after the Mets had imploded really the previous 2 weeks, and the Phillies were playing well, not tremendous, but well. And then the Mets game starts at 1:05. The Phillies started at 1:35, so we're going back and forth looking, and we can see that Tom Glavine was getting fucking shelled. And the Phillies go on and win that game.
So the Phillies were down 6 games, early September,
right,
and in order to get to that point, that a surge in late August.
That's right.
They started to win a lot of games, and was like, could the Mets really met this right now?
Right.
And they did,
and they absolutely did.
They imploded. Yeah. And that was the run for the.
That was the beginning. The Phillies lost in the first round that year, then in
Colorado Rockies,
and then 2008 they win the championship. Then they lose to the Yankees in 2009 in the World Series, and then the next 2 years they lose to the eventual World Series champions.
Yeah, to a pitching starting 4 that was unbelievable.
Yeah,
right. The 2 Roys, Cole.
The losing to the Yankees that year, because it was kind of like a super team, that doesn't upset me. It's the following year, that Cardinals year that they should have won, where they go and Carpenter beats them 1-0, right? Isn't that
yeah.
Carpenter and Holiday in a fucking playoff gem.
Yeah, I hate losing to the Yankees though.
Yeah, I mean, we're up game 1. Cliff Lee has a 4-run lead and gives it up.
Well, the story was that he was tipping his pitches there.
Is that right?
They figured it out pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple honorable mention games.
Yeah, I have the pickle juice game, which was basically the beginning when we beat the Cowboys, and it was hot in Dallas, and Andy Reid gives everybody pickle juice, and it was sort of the beginning of that era.
That was the last game played on Liberty Weekend for the NFL.
Is that right?
Yeah, they pushed it back after that.
Iverson crossover of Jordan.
Oh, that was like almost like the transferring of power in the NBA, right? It was you're getting out of one era and then you're getting into the next. And Allen Iverson really kind of identifying with the culture, the urban culture of basketball, and bringing it forward, right? Michael Jordan was a corporate. Kind of, great job, by the way. Phenomenal documentary on Netflix, by the way.
It was.
But that was kind of the transfer of power from or eras or generations.
And I don't think kids today probably understand how much Iverson changed the way the game not only just played a more like street ball mentality a little bit, right? But the way that NBA players showed up to games.
Yeah.
Tattoos, the way they dressed, the whole culture around it. Allen Iverson brought that in. He changed it to the new era. It really was a change of guard, like of the button-up suit wearing guys to a much more urban look.
Yeah. And it identified a lot of people, even urban people, even white people. They identified more with that.
Oh yeah, right? Absolutely, right.
And that was kind of like when like Kobe was trying to figure out who Kobe was.
Right.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that Kobe was always like that. Yeah, he was a guy who always wanted to win.
Right.
But he got caught up. He got caught up in some shit.
Of course he did.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? He got exposed. And he kind of really had to dial back in. That's where that whole Black Mamba mentality came from. He made it up out of adversity.
Right.
Right. He that's not who he was. This is who the fuck Iverson was.
Always.
Right.
Yeah.
On the football field, in bowling alleys.
Right.
This is who he was.
Right. Yeah. Way too loyal for his own good.
Yep.
Gave everything that he got. Gave everything that he had. Plus more on a basketball court. Hard not to love a guy that came there and just fucking gave his body away.
Yep.
Yeah, he really did. And the other honorable mention I had was, two other ones. We have Rollins double play to secure the division in 2008 to end the game.
Clutch
play. And then the Flyers beating the Red Army, which was a huge deal back then, which is really before our time.
I think you need to emphasize beating.
Yeah.
Because they literally beat them off of the ice.
Right, and then it was like, we don't want to play
anymore. They quit.
Yeah, they quit.
It
was the Broad Street bully mentality, Soviet Red Army team. And again, the Soviet Red Army team was really basically a professional team, and they were dominating world competitions. They come in here and literally just beat the shit out of them.
Listen, you want to get hockey back in this town?
Yeah.
You have to take that on that persona. You have to. Whoever the dopes are at Comcast, because I don't know who's running the Flyers. I don't know who's making the decisions. Right. I get it. Tortorella can kind of bring that back.
Yeah.
Right. And he's a tough guy. And with the roster that he has right now, you want to get me watching a game again. You want to get my $80. Start beating the crap out of some people. Every game you're going to lose. Right. Let's go out and hurt somebody. Let's drop some wood on someone. Bring me back.
But people will love it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I will love it. I'll buy a jersey.
You buy a jersey? Really? Even the ugly, the new with the burnt orange?
I'm not going to wear it.
Burnt orange jersey?
I would buy a Rick Tocchet jersey.
A Rick Tocchet.
I need Rick Tocchet back on this team.
Rick Tocchet, famous for leading the league in penalty minutes.
Yes. Greg Berube.
Actually, Rick Tocchet could actually play a little bit, but we had a lot of goons in this town. Maybe we'll do a top 5 all-time Philadelphia Flyer goons.
Can we do it Philadelphia Flyer goons and then Philadelphia athlete goons as well?
All right. We'll do Flyer goons and athlete goons.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll go back and forth there.
All right, we'll do,
because, the Sixers had some goons.
Yeah, some
just Rick Mahorn.
Mahorn.
Rick Mahorn.
Yeah.
Phillies had some goons and Dave Hollins. Some knuckleheads there.
Dave Hollins, who still had the fucking steroid. What's in his arm on the way out. I don't know if he did, but I'm just saying it looked like it. The needle, I'm trying to say.
Lenny Dykstra. You need to get in that whole Lenny Dykstra thing.
Dude, yeah. We do. So, let's do a top 5 goon, Flyers goons, and then other Philly sports goons.
Yeah, done.
All right.
And then that brings us right into the preview for next week, the UFC 294.
All right, guys. So I love the UFC. I'm a big martial arts guy, and so I want to bring this into the podcast every once in a while. So I'm just going to preview the main event, 294, which has gone over a bunch of different changes over the last week with guys dropping out.
Canceling,
and Usman stepping up to go into middleweight to fight Chimaev, and Alexander Volkanovski taking a short notice fight for a rematch against Makachev.
Who? Were they on the Russian team that played the Flyers? Jesus.
Listen, Russians love fighting.
Listen, they invented the slap game.
Yeah, the UFC. The
UFC that Dana White made popular.
If anybody would like to see something quintessentially Russian, please Google Russian telephone booth fighter.
I didn't know what you were going with. I really didn't. It could have been German porn. I didn't know where this was going.
Telephone booth fighting. It is fucking quintessentially Russian.
Yeah.
If you ever want to be better at grappling, find a Russian partner. Because you will kill each other for 3 minutes and then shake each other's hand and smile.
The only fighter on this card whose name I could announce is Johnny Walker.
That's right. So let's start. The first one in the main event is Johnny Walker versus Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev is 18-1-1. Walker's 21-7. Both guys I don't know a ton about, but Magomed has much more UFC experience. So
if you Google Magomed, he looks exactly how his name sounds. He looks like he's been punched in the forehead a lot. I'm sorry if I offended you, sir. I apologize, but I mean, looks. You got a face for radio. You got a face for UFC. Magomed.
But anyway, so I'm going to go with Magomed. He has more experience.
Yeah.
He should beat Johnny Walker on that one. I'm sorry. The first movie you got Saeed Nurmagomedov. It's fucking. God damn it!
You sounded like you just burped in Polish.
It's Khabib's
brother.
Yeah, it's in his camp. I think it's his cousin. Anyway, against Gafurov. Anyway, they're both coming off losses. Again, Saeed has much more experience, so I'm going with Saeed on that one.
Okay.
Then you got Arkan Aslarkov versus Alves. Again, I don't know a ton about both of these guys, so I'm gonna go with the Russian because I love Russians.
Do you though?
All right, but the top.
Should that be our first T-shirt? Unqualified with Frank and Dave on the back. I love Russians.
I love Russians.
Strippers.
So, but then the top two fights really is you got Chimaev, again, younger guy, 12-0, against Usman, who's stepping up in weight class on short notice. They're both really strong wrestlers. Usman does have better stand-up, I think, or at least has proven over time to have gotten better at stand-up. So I think that if Usman can keep it standing up, I think he has a chance to win this fight.
Usman's a bad motherfucker.
He is a bad motherfucker, but they're both mostly wrestlers. Chimaev is bigger and stronger. He is really a middleweight, and Usman's more of a welterweight, and Usman's taking it on short notice. I don't see how Usman overcomes that, the short notice.
I might place a small wager on that fight.
On the short notice.
On the short notice on Usman for the big payout, because
really?
Yeah, I see him. I don't know a lot about UFC.
Yeah.
I do possibly, from what I know about him, utilizing kicks to create some distance so he could shoot and possibly overpower his opponent. I
think the way he wins this is he keeps it standing up. I think he has better stand up against Chimaev, but I don't know how. I don't know how he keeps it standing up. Again, and Chimaev is an all-around fighter, too. I mean, he's a bad motherfucker.
12-0.
12-0 right.
Right. Might place a shekel.
Shekel?
A shekel or two.
Here's the one that I would probably place. Right now, Makhachev is the favorite in this fight against Volkanovski. Again, Volkanovski has taken a short fight, stepping up in weight class. 11 days he found out about it. I think Volkanovski won the first fight.
Okay.
I think he got screwed. He took it 5 rounds. I think Volkanovski is the more well-rounded fighter. He's got his pace is like nobody else. There's nobody that can outpace these Russian dudes. But because they're wrestlers by nature and they're fucking amazing. This is the only dude I've ever seen out. He wore Islam out in the first fight. I think he wears them out again. I think he has way too many weapons. I don't think he gets lazy. I don't know that he was lazy in the first part of the fight, but he spent a lot of time on the ground. I think he defends that better this time around and really takes it to him and makes Islam work a little bit harder early in the rounds, because I think that's the only reason he lost. But I do think he won in the first round, and I think Volkanovski doesn't lose a second time.
No.
I think he's the best all-around fighter in pound for pound in MMA right now.
This is happening in Middle East, right? Abu Dhabi?
It's Abu Dhabi, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my predictions on the top 2. I'm going to get better with the but I got enunciation. I got Nurmagomedov. I finally got it. Nurmagomedov. I got Ikram versus Alves.
Mm-hmm.
I got Magdamed versus Walker over Walker. I got Chimaev over Usman. And the only Russian I am not picking is Makachev. I'm going to pick Volkanovski.
So, okay, now that I'm looking at Magomed,
yeah,
I believe he fought here. I believe he fought at UFC in Philadelphia right before the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah. Now I'm looking at his mug.
Yeah. He's had more of a history than Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is a younger guy.
Well, maybe be enjoying a little Johnny Walker during that bout. It's an afternoon fight, though.
Magomed is 10-1-1, but just a note about Paulo Costa, who dropped out against the Chimaev fight.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so they had to move Paulo Costa up to middleweight anyway because he was missing weight. Like, he missed weight dramatically in a welterweight fight, and now he's fucking with Dana White again. He's dropping out of some weird thing where I don't know if they necessarily believe him. So he's fucking himself. He's another that kid. He was fighting welterweight and then showing up at like probably 210 pounds.
Yeah.
The 2 days later, like the day later, 20 hours later. Way too big. So he's a middleweight. And then Oliveira got a big cut under his eye, so he wasn't healing. So that's why he dropped out. Oliveira's legit. I do think that Islam was going to beat Oliveira though.
Well, Saturday evening or afternoon.
So Saturday evening. So, all right. So next week we'll catch you up with the Phillies, how the Phillies are doing. I guess we'll say something about the Flyers and the Sixers.
I guess.
And then we'll talk about the Eagles versus Miami. That's coming up next. That's going
to be a track meet, especially after what the Eagles just went through against the Jets. Miami they really only their offensive weapons. They have as many offensive weapons as we do.
Yeah, they're a very good offensive team.
Their coach is probably better than McDaniel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Miami's. Yeah, the Dolphins.
Their defense is not good though.
No. So bet the overs.
Yeah,
it might be 68, but bet it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if we can hold them to under 20 or 21 or under, I think we win the game. We got to come out and be who we are, though.
Is that the first Kelly Green game?
It is the first Kelly Green game.
Are you going?
I will be there.
I will not be.
I will be there. I have season tickets. I won't miss that one.
Nicky Jones will be in attendance.
He will?
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
It's his first one of the year, because of baseball schedule and stuff like that.
And he is what? So he's 16 now?
15.
15 years old.
16 on November the 6th.
All right. We got anything else?
That's it, buddy.
All right. Until next time.
Go fuck yourself.
And to the Atlanta Braves fans, stop being pussies.
We're out, people.
Bye.